This is Poland, a Central European nation located at the narrowest point of the Northern European plain. It's about the size of New Mexico. It's home to around 38 million people, much smaller than its neighbor Germany, which boasts the largest population in the European Union, a little under 84.5 million. As Germany's economy begins to lag due to energy problems caused by the Ukrainian war, Poland continues to see significant growth, becoming the sixth largest economy in the EU, much larger than other post-Soviet countries like Belarus, Ukraine, and Romania, despite their bigger size. But it wasn't always so successful. A little over 100 years ago, after the armistice of World War I, Poland was reborn after vanishing from the map for a century. What followed was yet another long period of subjugation and repression. Following the Nazi and Soviet invasions and occupation, Poland finally became free of foreign influence in 1991 with the fall of the Berlin Wall. Seizing their opportunity, Poland saw 28 years of uninterrupted economic growth, leading commentators to follow the trend line and predict that the once non-existent Poland could soon overtake its former invader to the west, Germany. If Poland, a country that suffered occupations, a Holocaust, and brutal repression, can become a high-income developed economy, almost anyone can. But how did the Polish miracle come about? And can they take the throne of Germany, Europe's current economic top dog? In 2020, just as coronavirus cases hit Europe, the Polish president Jarosław Kaczyński, the power behind the ruling Law and Justice Party, declared proudly that Central and Eastern European countries' economy would catch up to and then surpass Western Europe within the next 2 decades. With the largest economy and regional population, Poland would be the engine of this growth. It sounds grandiose and a little ambitious. After all, it's not like Western European nations aren't going to grow either. It's like trying to overtake a better quality car that's accelerating while dodging any economic potholes. But is it really so crazy? Well, a report published in 2019 by the Warsaw School of Economics argued that if Poland continues its economic growth pace from 1990 to 2018, it could match Germany's economic stature in 21 years. Poland's consistent and rapid growth has allowed it to reduce the economic disparity with Western Europe. The study further revealed that in a mere 14 years, Poland could equal the average GDP per capita of the original 15 EU nations. Hanna Godluszka-Maczkowska, an SGH professor, noted in the report that Poland reached Greece's GDP per capita in 2015 and is projected to exceed Portugal by the close of the year. In the initial 5 months of 2019, the Polish Economic Institute, or PIE, reported that Poland outstripped the UK, claiming the title of Germany's 6th largest global economic ally. In 2018, 28.2% of all Polish exports went to Germany, and imports from Germany accounted for 22.4%. The trade surplus amounted to 13.7 billion euros in 2018. However, the report emphasizes that Polish exports are less reliant on the German economy than prior data suggested. By contrast, Germany is currently the sick man of Europe. After 2 decades of the German powerhouse, the engine is beginning to splutter. As the largest manufacturing economy in Europe, Germany enjoyed significant advantages compared to its rivals. As part of the Eurozone, its formerly strong currency, the Deutschmark, was dilated by the other currencies within the euro, meaning Germany could sell its high-end products at a fraction of the cost. Meanwhile, China rejoined the world's economy, becoming a member of the World Trade Organization, allowing Germany to sell technical products to China, such as cars, manufacturing machinery, electrical equipment, and others, in which Germany excels thanks to its Mittelstand, a collection of small and medium-sized manufacturing firms. However, like all engines, Germany's economy relied on gas and oil, mainly from Russia. For Putin's reign, Germany was happy to turn a blind eye to Russia's internal disputes as long as the gas kept running into the energy-intensive German industry. This perfect cocktail of cheap energy and plentiful consumers led to the highest trade surplus in the world in 2016, valued at $310 billion. In fact, some argued that its surplus violated EU law. Unfortunately, as with all golden ages, it appears that factors fueling Germany's growth are coming to an end. After Russia invaded Ukraine, despite Germany prevaricating, the EU giant was strong-armed diplomatically to place sanctions on Russia. As a result, Germans were suddenly without the raw materials necessary to keep the world's greatest production line running. Everything ground to a halt. As a 2020 industry report laid bare, 90% of German companies warned that increased energy and raw material prices represented either an existential threat or a severe hazard. Almost 1 in 5 companies was looking into moving production abroad. Current headlines now threaten severe gas shortages until early 2027. And that still requires Germans to fund and build more LNG terminals and pipelines, all while paying a higher price for fuel. Meanwhile, across the border, Poland, which had long warned of Russian aggression, took advantage of the situation. The nation rapidly expanded its liquefied natural gas terminals on the Baltic Sea to cope with increased domestic demand. It also struck a deal with nearby Norway, planning to create a pipeline from the Norwegian shelf to Poland's shore. Once, Germany would be the likely destination. However, as Poland takes a leading role in Europe, it aims to become the energy supplier for the East, weaning Europe off Russian gas and expanding Poland's regional power. Indeed, the Polish government is already planning a north-south gas infrastructure corridor between the Baltic Sea, the Adriatic and Aegean Seas, the Eastern Mediterranean Sea, and the Black Sea. If that wasn't enough, it also plans to build its first nuclear power plant on the Baltic coast by 2033, with construction set to begin in 2026. The picture couldn't be clearer. As Germany dithered, hoping that the geopolitical pendulum swung back in its favor, Poland seized the opportunity. However, this is only the beginning of Germany's problems. Its much-flaunted trade surplus fell for the 5th consecutive year in 2022. Much of the decline was due to higher energy prices after Russia's invasion, but the fall predates the war. China, Germany's main trading partner, is increasingly independent of the EU's economic powerhouse. No longer does it need German widgets and equipment to fuel its manufacturing base. Meanwhile, its domestic car exports are beginning to overtake Germany. Already, Japan purchases more Chinese than German cars. And with the French pushing for anti-subsidy legislation, it could spell the beginning of the end for the German auto industry. This is a major problem. Unlike other nations, Germany doesn't have a Plan B. It has no homegrown tech giants, nor significant digital infrastructure. Over 80% of German companies still use a fax machine. And while most German major companies were around in the 1990s, the same cannot be said for the US, China, and other major economic powers. There is no German Google, Tesla, or Alibaba. Indeed, as much as Germany took advantage of the first and second industrial revolutions, it's nowhere to be seen in the third revolution. In a scramble for relevance, Germany lured Intel to build a colossal German chip factory, spending tens of billions to catch up. Meanwhile, Intel already plans to build a chip factory that will assemble and test microprocessors in Wrocław, Poland. Poland shouldn't celebrate just yet. Its track record of raising productivity, technical expertise, and wages is impressive. However, its miracle was part of the German miracle. It was German companies who built and maintained many of the factories in the country. And as part of the EU, it's by far and away the largest recipient of European subsidies, alongside the remittances from expats working in the EU. But as it receives fewer subsidies, fewer remittances, and less German inward investment, Poland's aspirational future hangs in the balance. Unfortunately, like other European nations, Poland is struggling with the shrinking working-age population, although Ukrainian refugees could help forestall this decline. Nonetheless, for Poland to overtake Germany, it must look beyond the European continent. There are signs of this occurring. CD Projekt announced the acquisition of Canadian digital Scrapes Studio as Polish multinational KGHM Polska Miedz employs 34,000 people worldwide. However, it's still early days. Regardless, Poland's economic performance over the past 20 years is a masterclass in how to transform an economy. From one of the poorest nations on the continent, it has grown to become a major player in the East. But its success remains reliant on its western neighbor. Will Poland finally step out of the shadow and establish itself as Europe's economic powerhouse of the 21st century? It's possible, but as Germany's economy tumbles, it risks taking Poland with it. If you liked this video, we've got more content covering geopolitics and economics. Thanks for watching. Bye.